Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Right, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. How is everyone doing? Are we all winning? Judging by the comments in the chat, we're not. My portfolio is down 70%. Darshan B says, great start. Love it. Let's have it. Thanks in advance. Cornsman, Sean. Good evening, gentlemen. Hello, Zaxi, Mr. Smith. Charlie has a great voice. That wasn't me singing. But I'll take the compliment anyway. Ethereum looks better than DXY. Oh, well, we'll have a peep. Let's not spoil the fun. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Let's fire it up for the greatest bull run of all time. No, I'm joking. Can you give me $100 to a 1 million trade? Thanks. Yeah, sure. Bet on yourself, mate. Bet on yourself. That's what I would say. Load the angel hair. Yeah, seriously, how's everyone doing? I mean, it's been pretty brutal. I've kind of just stayed away from the timeline a little bit. Because everyone's fucking miserable. Which, when you look at the vast, majority of the market, I can kind of understand why. Yeah, everything since the start of the year really has been shite. OM, one of the only ones that's actually positive from an altcoin perspective. Yeah, there's probably been some on-chain stuff and all that, but it's been a little bit tough for people, hasn't it? What's going on with Banana? I assume that they used some of the... so they give 40% revenue back to shareholders or holders of Banana, I'm assuming that they're using some of the other 60% to not just treat themselves on something, but to buy back a little bit of supply because the chart looks like fucking dog shit. I mean, obviously it looks great being up 50% a second, but you know, right, Bybit listings. If you look at the full chart, it's probably not as horrific. Let's have a little peep. But I've just seen it all over the timeline, so it looks like a mass coordinated shell. But you know, it's a good product. It generates real revenue. Blah de blah. It is good, and we're seeing a lot of like on-chain stuff starting to run now, which is good. You know, bring a little bit of life back into things. Cheers, Mark. Yeah, I'm good, mate. My paper trading is my paper demo are all at 50%, but my funding attempt is down. Yeah, that can sometimes be the way, but I'm sure you're just memeing. Give me 1 second. Hello, my sincere apologies. That was a little bit random, a little bit of IRL drama. I suppose the first time in what 4 years of doing this that we've actually had that kind of event timed with a stream. But we do apologise, everybody, for wasting your evening. He used to DJ, by the way. I do not think so. Yeah, so sorry, that was a little bit random. Right, let's get on with the stream. Let's firstly do a shout out to Destro Network for sponsoring the stream. Absolute legends. We are, unfortunately, with most of our altcoin bags in a massive downtrend. I kind of said the trade that I would take if I didn't have a fat bag of it already, which I do have, and I've got, it's been round tripped a couple of times. I saw a bit up here, to be fair. I think a little bit up here as well, but, you're looking structurally for this kind of setup on alts in general, which is, for me, I don't want to be catching down trending knives, and that's the same for like this little rotation here, right? It's not for me. There's so many good setups on things. I talked about Bonk in the group to start the week, but really, until we start seeing some relative strength changes in trends and actual, decent movements, which to be fair, this rotation in the last 15-20 minutes, because probably an hour, 2 hours, I guess, since the potential ending of the war, all that kind of thing. That might be enough to sort of springboard us into the next leg, which I'm a little bit late to this rotation, whatever. I was eating my dinner and chilling with the fam. We are all good with sound, right? Yeah, cool. Parole officer. Yeah, exactly. It was the tax authority for my shorts. They were like, how is this fucker making profit? Pay up. Everyone else is getting their asses handed to them. Pay up now. Straight to jail. Yeah, was over by a shit ton. That's kind of it. Like, I think it's definitely a good signal. So if I step back and I talk you through my plans and what I share with the group at the start of the week, I see this as like two areas where two really defined areas at the moment in terms of what is going on and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to interact with them. So for me, it's like literally this. I think I went up to like 75 something. For me, I was interested in how this kind of very janky daily divergence has started to play out, which it has, like up here, decent move. But what I really wanted is some form of sell-off into this kind of front-running area of this former consolidation. Because for me, if we move down into here and we re-accept in here, then the market's just fucked, right? It's going to go from here to there, and maybe do like a range deviation or reclaim, probably consolidate for a long time. We get the time capitulation and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it would be so fucked. For me, the most bullish scenario and to keep that high time frame momentum would either be a massive wick into here that we instantly bounce off, or just a little move into this kind of front running of this former consolidation. And that's where I really wanted to bid. So I've been quite greedy in terms of not rebidding like these levels, which are not far off that, because I was kind of looking for the 75s and that kind of level. So this kind of region here. But we are where we are. And that's FBI open up. Yeah. Are we back, Charlie? Are we back? No, I don't think we're back. I don't think so. It's a nice rotation. It's a fucking lovely rotation from Banana, who, like I said, are, I imagine just buying the fuck out of their own token. But, it's a good product, good revenue generating product. It's probably similar for things like RLB and other products of that nature that actually generate revenue, because it's very easy to value that kind of thing. If you say, if I buy 20 grand of Banana now, and actually it does X in fees and I get Y percentage of that, it's very easy to kind of come up with a real valuation. So, yeah. I've always been a bit of a fan of Banana. Same with anything that generates revenue, obviously being a former accountant. Are we so back? Are we back for the bull run? No, I don't think so. Does this, let's be objective here, right? Let's be really objective and just start looking at simple trends and simple, thought process, right? What is this trend? How is this trend, how is price behaving relative to this trend? What direction is the trend pointing in on a daily basis? Like, is it pointing up? Good uptrending price action? Is it consolidating or is it pointing down? It's still pointing down. So I hate to break it to you, but until that really changes, you can't get too excited. Like every little move like this is just where people flip bias, go full bull, and high time frame trend hasn't really changed, right? Conversely, even on like low time frames, it's not particularly exciting. Like if you want to entertain longs, that's fine. Personally, I'd be waiting for like a flip of like 83k and just like show me some decent and strong momentum instead of trying to catch the lows. Now there was a little bit of a div across these lows which you could have gone for, which I didn't go for because it was a bit late my time and I couldn't be asked to trade because I'm being lazy in these conditions. I'm being lazy because I've done all right for myself and I, just don't have the appetite to trade every single day at the moment when I know that if I pick the right 4 weeks to trade later on in this year, I don't know whether that's next week, I don't know whether that's the week after, I don't know whether it's 4 months down the line, but if I pick those weeks and I trade them well, I'm going to outperform this time tenfold, right? We've talked about it several times before. We've talked about it through the Pepe chart, in particular through the periods of hyper risk on, where we just make so much money it's not even funny, and we just run up our accounts turbo during these times. Even that was a nice little run, right? It wasn't as good as the others, but like even these smaller runs where we actually have these periods of super risk on, absolutely great. Do I think this market is just going to go absolute fucking death, shit the bed, alts are going to go down 90% or whatever the fuck this is, right? Only 81, fine. Alt's going to go down 81%, then instantly be reversed back up. Do I bollocks? A lot of people will probably be shilling you the same kind of bullshit hopium, but this schematic here is actually largely what I think will happen. Whether this time horizon's right in terms of like May, June, got fucking no idea. I'm not going to pretend I do. I'm not that kind of predictive trader. I will make bullshit squiggles on Twitter and people will trade off them and lose all their money, which is fine because they're retarded. Obviously all this isn't financial advice, etc., etc. But my squiggles aren't for trading off necessarily. They are just for me to come up with simple ideas of what I want to see, and then when it starts to happen, a breakout of that consolidation, however that occurs, that's when I want to start getting involved, because you've got this, you've got price, selling off, you've then got like time-based capitulation where it doesn't really do much, bit of ranging, a little bit of low time frame chop. This is where most people actively overtrade, get their asses handed to them, hate trading, and then get sort of sidelined for these big moves. And this to me is just, I want to see more of this. I don't want to be trying to actively long every altcoin in a strong Bitcoin downtrend. That's a surefire way to get fucked. Good rotations though, like if you call banana, like I said, I was eating my dinner, but if you call banana, that's a lovely, lovely, lovely use of spaghetti. Really, really nice use of spaghetti. And the reason I say that is because it's just kind of so obvious, right? Like look at that. Look how again, this is hindsight. This is totally me hindsight larping. So I'm not going after street cred or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys, that's the trade that I sit in front of my PC the whole day for, where I would go, even in these conditions, yeah, I'll fucking buy some of that, I'll smash some of that. The perps are pretty shit in a liquid, but you can smash 50, 100 grand in it on chain and not be too bad. So yeah, I'll just catch up with chat pretty quickly. When will leave BTC bottom? There is no bottom, my brother. When do you think SPX will bounce, and to what will the corresponding level be on Bitcoin? So let's just kind of finish the rant actually, and where I want to bid Bitcoin. Well, we've kind of gone through that. It's down here. Lower time frame, I could jump on board here for a rotational play and assume that this is kind of the sort of medium time frame bottom. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to take that trade. I don't like diddling in the middle of anything. Personally, I think it's quite difficult to do. and I think you're more likely to get shaken out than anything there. I think if we start getting a show of strength again back up to like 91, I think it's more 92 if you go down to lower time frame, but whatever. Like I'd rather be buying a reclaim of this range up here than anything. But obviously my preferred setup is sell off here from these lows, come down, capitulate into sort of 72-ish, and then really start seeing that strong buyback, and then establish a range here, and then you've got that perfect high time frame market structure in terms of strong run up, distribution, sell off, consolidate, markup. That's more likely, I think, in my opinion, than anything else. Even maybe a longer consolidation down here, which will chop people up, get people, completely fucking insane. Maybe a couple of chances to buy in the sort of 75, 73 region, and then we start the ascension. Do I think the bull market is completely done? No. Do I think most alts are fucked? Yes. Short term at least. Do I think that Bitcoin is going to cement itself as a store of value for a long time horizon, so like 3 to 5 years? Yeah, absolutely. Can I see it flipping gold, like 500k, 800k, like Bitcoin value? Yeah, I can. I still do. I've always thought that. Anyone who's been here for my streams for a long time will know that. Does that help you on a short-term trading bias? No, not at all. It does help you build up some conviction into what you're buying, though. If you, I bought my original Bitcoins at like 3-4k, so I did have to dump a load of them at like 100. I got out over the 100 mark, which is good. That was my original plan. That's to set me up for life, as opposed to, just bag hold to infinity. But now, I'm in a very fortunate position where I can just buy a couple and leave them to run, and hopefully they hit that kind of 500k, 800k, $1 million mark before $1 million is a loaf of bread. It's also a good short setup here. So if you're looking to short this, right, like let's just go back. Like, what do you want to short? Like for me, I want to short parabolic moves that have failed. So long move like that, bosh, something like that, change in market structure. I want to short rejection from key support resistance, which I'm not really sure this is particularly key, but it's not too bad in terms of where it's rejected before. And ideally, I'd want that with some sort of divergence playing out. Now, in the context of the sell-off that we've had, right? So we've had this huge sell-off. I'm kind of going to go through why I wouldn't short this, right? In the context of the sell-off that we've had, we're 30% down, and we've rallied 8% off the lows. And it's a downtrending market. Yep, completely get that. But what we then have to do is say, how inefficient is this move? Do we think this move is like particularly inefficient? Do we think it's starting to show weakness? Do we really want to jump on board this now? And I can't really find anything from a divergence perspective. There's nothing here to suggest it. From a kind of level to level perspective, so just looking at where price is rejected from before. So if you look like locally, low time frame, this is where sellers have stepped in, right? Here, sellers stepped in here at this like 84 mark, 84 mark, 84 mark again, right? So if you really wanted to try an aggressive short, you could do this, but it's like a C tier setup because you've only really got 1 point of confluence, right? You've only got this level. This is a literal levels play, and unless you start going into like the depths of the book depth, etc., which absolutely fine to do, obviously good to do if you look at all that data and you can see that there's a huge load of stacked asks up here, and that it's unlikely that unless we get some big bids rolling in that we're going to sort of steamroll through it. For me, it's difficult though because we've got no divergences at the highs, we've got nothing else. This is technically the third, maybe even fourth, if you kind of consider like this here, maybe even fifth test of this level, and we are rolling off the back of the fact that we've sold off 30% and bounced 8 in potentially positive headwinds of no Ukraine-Russia war. So the lack of divergences here, and the fact that I'd actually lean slightly more bullish at the moment than bearish means that I wouldn't be looking to short this. If you get something that does push up and you get an inefficient move, a candle that wicks like this above here, and then it comes back under. So you get a big wick, and then it comes back down and starts selling off. And it looks something like this. It's not had a major consolidation underneath. It's just literally gone like that and then failed. Then yeah, I could be convinced to jump on there if I wasn't already short from 105k. I like your style of trading, fewer stronger traders. Cheers, mate. I mean, I feel really guilty because I've been trading a lot less lately, right? But equally, I don't have to trade. And the reality of it is the conditions that suit me best, like this, like that trade there. Like I'm mildly annoyed that I missed it. I'm not gonna lie, because I've been sat at the PC for 8 hours today, and through those 8 hours, we've had like pretty shit rotations. I mean, good for things like Burt, which I've held a massive bag of and round trip most of it. But it's not a perp play, right? And then everything else has just been pretty rubbish, decent, nice run again, but it's not a perp play, it's a spot play. So my day has been nothing, go for dinner, come back, and there's a fucking 58%er on the on the table, and even Fartcoin has run, but it's not been particularly good. But yeah, that's my thought process like there on BTC. I still think we're in for more pain before relief. I think question in the chat around SPX. I don't trade SPX, but just looking at the chart, I tweeted this on the timeline, which everyone obviously got completely fucking salty about, and then it actually happened because I tweeted it like up here, wherever it was. I think I tweeted it on the 17th, which was here, so it was like literal Pico top of the market. So yeah, it always, like, I love people's sentiment and conviction, and I think that the thing that surprises me when I'm a trader and about my trades is that nothing surprises me. So I have to be prepared for everything, right? Like, I don't know. If I knew that this pattern was going to play out and I could go to some form of like gambling site and say, this is the exact chart pattern I think is going to happen, they would pay me a literal $1 million if that happened off like a $10 bet. Because the chances of me getting it right are probably so fucking slim. But that's not the way it works. Yeah, my point is that it sold off horrendously. Where would be like logical levels? I mean, for me, it's kind of like looking for that 50 retest on like a weekly level. So that's like now, which would be confluent with like this across here, forming some kind of support, which we've obviously got. So that's 2 weeks. Rubbish. Maybe it was the 2 weekly support, but yeah, it's not particularly great. You've had a real strong uptrend, and let me just, you're starting to lose some sort of key trends, which really is not great. Am I predicting the death of the stock market? I mean, that's what the squiggle says, but it's pretty hard to fight something that is designed to go up and to the right infinitely. I think if it's going to bounce, I think it's going to be here. I think this becomes a swing failure and we move above there. And then if we did get this, that's one of my favorite shorting patterns. Short here, like this, short there, stop at the all-time highs, and then run it down something like this. Go to here or something. Genuinely my favorite pattern to short, especially with the confluence of like change in trends and essentially a lower high across here. Do we see alt season or not? It's an interesting question, but because my challenge is always that we've seen alt season, right? We've had alts absolutely, run amok. If you look at, let's go to like the 3-day chart, right? I think it's absolutely absurd for people to say that like all of these alts that went from the 2022 lows that did like astronomical returns. Look at OM, for example, it's absolutely mental. All the memes did silly numbers as well. It's obviously the clear outperformer, but Memes absolutely wrecked it. Or whatever this was. Oh, it's fat. Okay, fine. Here we had Whiff, we had Fair, we got Bonk, we got all these coins that did absolute insane returns. Like, how can people look at me with a straight face and say that we didn't have some form of alt season? I think people just didn't expect or didn't accept the fact that this alt season is much more like dispersed than previous ones. The whiff chart was insane. Yeah, exactly. Tariffs on Canada being cut. Wee, happy days. Send it all. Send it all to infinity. We're all tariff traders now. That's it. We went from being, you know, future of decentralized finance to tariff traders. What's the quickest way to add all the alts on the same chart? Copy mine, mate. Just take this. I'll chuck it on. I'll chuck it on the YouTube.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. That's not my YouTube. Brilliant. Alright, there you go. Struggle with take profits. You have fixed levels for TP when you don't act flexible, when you don't like the P anymore. So there you go, guys. That's my trading view. So you can just copy that chart. So when you go to it, there should be a copy thing up here and to the right. So you can just take a copy of it there. Nice and easy. Rock and roll. I love that some people become macro traders now. No, mate, I'm not a macro trader. I suppose you probably weren't talking about me. I'm not. I don't know fucking macro from my elbow, right? And I'm not going to pretend to. I don't. I don't understand it all. I'd love to understand it all, but I kind of don't want to. Do you know what I mean? I'd just trade the chart that's in front of me and understand that, because that's all I do understand. You know, the dollar is shitting the bed, which is supposedly good for risk on assets, but risk on assets are shitting the bed as well. So, well done, Mr. and Mrs. Economist. You know, you've continued to get it wrong. Man, people who've been trading shitcoin suddenly start talking about macro. Yeah, yeah. Someone who lost it all on Doge come in U69 suddenly becomes an expert on the inverse bonds market and all this kind of shit. It's pretty funny, really, how it all works out. But yeah, like let's kind of veer away from some of this doom posting and start talking about like next trades and stuff, and like what do I want to see and what the coins that I want to start bidding and where do I want to start bidding them, because you know, I wanted near last week, which was down here, and then it ran up really nicely, and then literally rejected perfectly off resistance, which is a little bit less than ideal. You know, we're talking about this divergence. This is what I mean, right? This has a clear signal. I want to buy some of this because there's a clear signal here that momentum is changing. And on a lot of charts, for me right now, I do want to buy them. Don't get me wrong, I really want to buy them. Like, I wanted to buy Bonk. Like, I wanted to buy Bonk at this level, essentially, like, former all-time lows / demand. Like, that's a pretty appealing chart, right? But I can't really buy it, even though, from a daily perspective, there's a bit of a divergence. But it's not great, right? It's not wonderful. Like, if I move it there, because obviously a bit more price actions happened, like, it's kind of not locked in because there's no 2 bars in the you know, light orange here. It's just very, very early. Like, yeah, this trade would work out pretty well in terms of like an entry, but Christ, it's a strong downtrend. It's still a strong downtrend. It's been a strong downtrend since up here when it flipped. It's only had a couple of times when it's really even challenged that downtrend, and every other time it's rejected. And my challenge to all of you is it easier to be trading and longing this, or is it easier waiting and trading it when it does this? Because it's going to happen eventually, right? That's my philosophy anyway. I don't think crypto's dead. I think risk comes back on. I think crypto is the ebb and flow of human greed. I think you know, it does come back, but that's the kind of setup that I want to see, or something like Banana just did, because that's incredible. That's, you know, absolutely wild. That's like a news trader AFKing during, the XRP case being announced. Very annoying. But then anyway, yeah, use spaghetti if you're not using it. Is my cheeky shill there. Looking for short around 88k unless market structure changes. That's I like this kind of thought process, and I'll give you a little insight into this short that I keep posting on the timeline. You probably all kind of can all see it from this, but I'll let you just turn this off. And can people actually? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it that way. So, guys, why would I take this short? What's my rationale? What's my criteria? What's the thought process here? Do you think? And in the meantime, JJ man learned last cycle. It's okay to miss the first 10% on an uptrend. Yeah, exactly that. I think if you believe in a big bull run, why are you so worried about missing the first 5-10% if you think that it's going to go 5 or 10x, right? It's always such a bizarre logic, but a lot of people will chop themselves up before it runs hard purely because they're impatient. Most great alt season with Bitcoin D going down. Yeah. Is no one going to hazard a guess to the logic behind this kind of trade? Parabola into RSI div into extreme territory. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you have the parabolic price action. We have a kind of sweep of this, which closes as a lower high, but then we also get in down here. So we've got a sorry, got something stuck in my throat. We've got a bit of a sort of lull in momentum. And what we've actually got up here, and I'll tell you because you've got the high time frame thought process, but then you've also got the low time frame execution. And over here, I'll just go to 4 hour actually because it makes more sense. Over here, you've got, I'll just delete all this as well. You've got this, you got here, that was the high, right? Bearing in mind that high is where the div started kind of occurring. You've also got this level all the way through here, which that's a nice run up. Maybe when I actually drew it at the time, it was here. You've got this as resistance, 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 etc. So every time we went above it, we just closed below. And actually, the short logic of being up here above previous all-time highs, I'll just delete it all and go back to the original. That makes total sense. There was a lot of absorption up here, in terms of the actual low time frame execution, but you've got that standard setup which works on ranges too, which is, and again, this is one of my, what the hell am I doing? One of my favorite short setups. It is parabolic move into some form of range, into a sweep of the highs, into a failure, anything under there, anything over here, any rejection of this, that's pretty much, your next leg down. So, for me, that's exactly what this setup was. And yeah, there you go. For next time. ETH looks like a big sack of dog shit. I will try and find a reason to be bullish on it, just to be objective about my bias. So let's have a look through. Are there any weekly divergences? Nope. 3-day, nope. 2-day, nope. Daily, if you squint, there's a bit of a div across these lows. Is it an actionable one that I want to take? Not really. Why? Not an extreme. Strong move, reasonably strong move. Nothing, maybe a little bit on Awesome Oscillator if you're really squinting, but that looks too high. Yeah, there's just nothing that I want to take on ETH. If you really want to get bullish ETH, the only way that I can get bullish on ETH is after price has gone up at least a little bit. and we've flipped this level, right? And we've kind of reclaimed this 2k mark. So we run up, we do this, and then we've got a level to level play up here to 2-3, and that's really it. You know, I can't get particularly bullish on it, but with a lot of these coins, you know, it's too late for me to be bearish on them. You know, I shorted it at 2.6, 2.7, so somewhere up like here. So I was pretty late to that short, right? It wasn't the best short, but it's kind of, you know, when you are short from somewhere like up here, right? Let's just go through this thought process. The further down that we go, the stupider it becomes to have that trade open still, right? Because your chance of round tripping what is essentially a very strong trending asset in that direction becomes kind of exponentially more. The reason is that crypto moves very volatile, you know, in a very volatile way in both ways. So you see these strong sell-offs, but you also see ridiculous buybacks, right? The last time like ETH BTC was down at this level, like we had a 50% run in like a day or something, right? It was pretty mental. And like you look at some of this, it can just run ridiculously hard. And it's also the same with longs, right? So if you invert this and you said, right, I'm long here, this is my trade, and you start seeing some like weakness, you know, it's obviously not, it's at an extreme in terms of RSI, but bearing in mind that that's inverted. We're kind of failing this point here, like this former support. Do we really want to hold it open here? Yeah, probably not. Do we think it's going to go like this low and really go into like former consolidations of like previous markets? Probably not. Not for an extended period anyway. So like the trade's kind of done if it comes back above that kind of 2k mark, right? So invert and check your bias is like always my kind of advice, not advice. Would you mind checking in on Solana? Yeah, it's dead. No, I'm joking. Solana's actually a bit better in terms of like some of the divs are at extremes. They're a little bit more actionable. And we talked about this one last week, I think, on here. Maybe it was in the group stream, which obviously had a nice little rally across the lows here in terms of like daily divergences. It looks a bit better, but I'm still not super excited about Solana. I think the kind of Sol cycle is probably done in the sense of, you know, it's still a very good coin to hold if you want exposure to a layer one and you want a bag of something that's going to, you know, hopefully outperform Bitcoin, be a bit of beta to it, but not necessarily be your kind of main bag. And the reason that I say that is like, you know, it's still in a downtrend. Doesn't matter what indicators you put on it. Doesn't matter how you look at it. You know, it's not looking particularly great. And I would rather arrive to the right party than be wrong and arrive early at the wrong one. Rumors beneath Foundation liquidation at 1100. Yeah. So again, it just depends on your risk appetite. It depends on your attitude to buying this stuff. Like for me, I want to see uptrends. I want to see changes in structure. I want to see strength. And the market is weak at the moment. TradFi is weak. Bitcoin is weak. You know, it is all weak. If I look at it just from a pure local price action perspective, it's very similar to what we talked about on ETH. Like reclaim a level, give me some confidence to actually jump on board. You know, give me that kind of level to level play and give me that strength, and I'll jump in, happily jump in some of these coins. But we're in a downtrending market. You know, you kind of see take profit one would be there and take profit two would be there, right? On a long that looks like this. Kind of just tee it up for you. There you go. And you know, it's a decent trade if it happens. I think that, you know, we are due some relief soon, so I am quite aggressively looking for longs, but not so aggressive that I want to try and catch bottoms, right? I don't participate here in the deviations, but I do on range reclaims. Simple as that. Why have you kept the Trump short open for so long? Have you been shaving profits on the way down or holding full size? That's a really good question, because you're now defeating me with my own logic, which I don't like. The reason that I'm so bearish on Trump is because they are unlocking, well, fuck me, they are unlocking a huge amount of supply, and it must be pretty imminent. And I cannot see a universe in which it doesn't just shit the bed even more. But you are quite right, right? My Trump short is the thing of legends, and quite frankly, yeah, I've got to thank the president personally for retiring in my bloodline. No, I'm joking, obviously, but yeah, it's fucking mental, isn't it? Obviously, when you're on the long side, you can get exponentially infinite rewards, right? It can 10x, 20x, 100x, whatever. When you're short, it doesn't work the same way, so it's much harder. But I just don't really see a reason to kind of flip it. From a trend perspective, it's getting absolutely shat on. The point of funding, when funding kicks in, and actually I end up paying, which will be some point, I'm sure. That'll be when I have to really start considering my position because it becomes very crowded. There's also the perspective of, how do I put it? There is always the risk that Trump actually comes out and does something semi-useful with it, and does give it some form of incentive, but unlikely for the time being. And generally, funding has been positive, so I actually get a little bit of money off it, but you know, negligible really in the scheme of things. You are right; it does get exponentially worse. I could wake up tomorrow and it could be up here. But I should have that date scarred into my brain, to be honest, of when it launched. But after 3 months, they get like 20% of the supply unlocked or something stupid. So it'll go even further. And I reckon I'll hold this till it's like down 99%. And I think it'll be one of my fucking favourite tweets of all time. Just because I'm a cunt like that. So I'm definitely doing it as a glory shot. ENA looks nice. Yeah, so ENA is one where actually you start talking about everything that I've talked about in terms of like firstly you got this huge momentum div across the lows, but it's actually starting to play out. Actually reclaimed or about to reclaim daily trend, and it's starting to look like one of the more appealing assets out there, right? So you look at something like that and you go, well, actually, I can see how, if this starts moving and going up here, I can see how we get another run like this. It's definitely one of the better altcoins out there. Oh yeah, welcome, Zach. Thanks for the question. Genuinely, it's nice to have people asking sort of thoughtful questions and reflecting my own logic or lack of sometimes back at me. But it is a personal vendetta, and it is kind of a if I round trip that entire thing, I'd be upset, obviously, but it would just be one of those things. It'd be worth it. Tao's got a really nice bottom, really nice, like consistent lows, and to be honest, if there's areas to blind bid like this, it's not a chart that I've looked at particularly because all my friends are very bullish on Tau, and I've never really understood it. I kind of missed the whole Tau run, but they are smarter than me, some of them anyway. So I think that's the how do I put it? It's kind of the sometimes you just completely miss projects or can never be asked to look into them, and this was one of them that I just couldn't be bothered, and yeah, for that reason, kind of never really looked at the chart. Missed the run up whilst friends printed hundreds of thousands of dollars every day on it, but case rise what it is. Yeah, do or die level. That's exactly what I mean. Like quite a few charts kind of hit this huge high time frame support and are now reacting positively. But it's all just a bit too early for me. You've got all these warning signs that are just, it's not particularly strong. And, do I want to buy something like this? Yeah, not really. No form of divergences. It's starting to reclaim the trend. Yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the one. But with Bitcoin looking as shit as it is, it's just I'm not excited. So yeah. If you have to enter town now, where would you enter? I mean, if I have to enter it now, I have to enter it now. That's the kind of question, isn't it? I mean, honestly, the only way that I'd be even tempted to enter Tau is literally something like this, and the logic would be, buying basically anything in this area with a stop under here, and like aiming for the next leg, right? So because you're basically assuming that this is the start of the next run. I'd probably liken it more to this area price action than anything else. I.e., we're in a strong downtrend still, and this is just that kind of relief bounce, which we're probably going to get a further sell off, just because I am a bit more bearish than everyone else, but that's fine. I'm happy to be wrong when I am wrong, because I will be wrong at some point. The market will completely flip, and we will have a nice reversal. I'm sure of it. I was hoping to catch it myself today, and this would have been the trade of the day, but unfortunately we ate. So yeah, I'd be doing something like this, wide stop, but trying to catch essentially a big high time frame trend reversal. If you're telling me I have to long somewhere, that's how I'd long it. The reason that I'd put a wide stop is just to give it some room to breathe, because the markets are pretty choppy lately. But in reality, if I was trading this low time frame, my stop would actually be something like this. What would it be? Be something like that. So kind of under the trend and under this former low. And just assume that we get some trend continuation, acceleration. That's what I want to see on rotations, right? I want to see strength, but yeah. But now it's just a little squeeze. It'll go up soon. Yeah, maybe we'll go short banana. No, I'm joking. It's probably going to work out to be a banger trade, but I mean, I haven't looked at like render and link and stuff like that for ages. Like, yeah, dead as a dodo. Like, why do I want to sort of trade this? Let's look at it. Like, I don't want to trade here. I want to trade here. If we go to daily, 2-day, we got anything? Not really. Not really. A little bit shit. That's what I mean. Is like I'm not excited about the market because there's just not that many trade signals. There's just not enough going on for me with my system. My system's just not great in these conditions. I don't buy lows really. I buy strength. And when you buy strength in a weak market, you get fucked. And if the market is weak and you try to overtrade it with a strong trend following system, it's not going very well for you. Render Coinbase charts more info, yeah, but still, I mean, it's pretty boring, mate. Fart looked kind of decent with the range reclaim. So Altcoin's had a bit of a decent. It's consistently decent on spaghetti, right? And yeah, it looks a lot better with the old levels starting to be reclaimed. You can just play this like level to level. It's quite a nice coin in terms of levels. Not perfect, obviously, because it's a high volatility meme coin, but it is nice in terms of you've got that confluence of a downtrend that's been broken, locally at least. You can tell on a high time frame basis the momentum's starting to go the other way, and starting to kind of attempt at least to move up. So yeah, it's not bad, but do I want to buy a huge bag of it and just leave it forever? No, I'll let the other influencers who got given bags do that. But yeah, for me, on an intraday rotational basis, it'll have some nice trades. Feel defeated from this market? I'm sorry, I'll say, yeah, that's it's a tough thing. The market is tough. I felt like that in 2017. I felt completely fucked by the market. I was like, God damn, this is ridiculous. How does anyone even make money from this, right? Because it's so difficult when it goes from everything being so easy and everything being like euphoric and everything's up only. You sold some stuff here, you felt like an idiot 3 months later. You sold some stuff here, you felt like an idiot 2 weeks later. You then decided to hold everything, and the entire market decided to crash. You didn't sell it, you sold it here, and even then it pumped a tiny bit, and then it round tripped, and you felt like an idiot then. Like, it's just like the whole process when you're doing that just makes you feel awful. And I've been there on some coins, right? Some coins I've still got, and I've basically round tripped this. Coins like Bert, as an example, round tripped a shed load on that. But I made a lot of money on other coins and a lot of money on trades, so I'm not crying about it. It's just could have managed things better or just dumped on people's heads on that one in particular, but chose not to. The whole kind of feeling of, well, I don't want to sell into strength. Like, at some point you have to rationalize that into, but when do I sell? What is the exit strategy? And the exit strategy can be, I'm holding this for 100x and 1000x. That's fine, right? And then if it does this, you can't cry. But if it does that and hits it and you retire, you're a genius, yeah? But as long as you've got that plan, as long as you've got those levels set out, that's what's going to differentiate you, I think. And, next time when you play the market, because I'm sure you will, because you're all gamblers, you're all addicts now, you're not going anywhere, this is crypto, right? You're going to learn these lessons. I had to learn it in a very tough way in my first run, and it benefited me greatly for my second and third one. Can you please explain the spaghetti chart one more time? I'll do it really quickly. So spaghetti is performance on a percentage basis here, since this point in time here. If you zoom in and out, that point in time changes. This percentage changes because obviously you are changing the point of reference. So now we're looking at tier starting to run. Do I want a long tier? Absolutely fucking not. But in this instance, it's banana. So we were talking at the start of the stream. I kind of sit around all day looking for huge moves like this that are completely out of kilter with the rest of the market, and that's a really good rotation for me to trade. Usually I'd be in it quite quickly, but I was eating my din-dins. So unfortunately, despite the fact that you can be a sort of semi-24-hour trader, you are never 24 hours. You have to actually live a little bit. You round trip too much, but that's the constant battle of how much you're comfortable round tripping. At any point when you've got numbers on the table, and if you're up, let's say $1,000 on a perp trade, yeah, you can close that and walk away with that $1,000 right now. And a lot of people kind of, not that they don't realize it, they do. Of course, they realize that they can do that, but they're never comfortable with the risk that they have on the table. At the end of every week, I know how much risk I've got, and mentally, I normally know it most days, right? Because I keep track of my portfolio. I keep an eye on things. I understand how much I am set to lose if I wake up and the market is down 50%, right? If that happens, I lose X amount. If I get FTX'd again, I know I'm losing. Yeah, public. Spaghetti's public, mate. I'll bosh it in the chat. Here you go. Bosh. Let's check ETC again. I love ETC. I'll check it for you in a sec, mate. But yeah, that's spaghetti. Use cases are generally, I like using it for pre-breakout trades. So you see nice price action like this. You wait for spaghetti to show you some relative strength, and as soon as you start getting some, you just pile into a long and play the breakout essentially. So hopefully it comes if it's relative strength. A few trades like the banana one we just talked about, and a couple of other things as well, but won't go into too much detail on that right now. ETC, I mean, I've said for a long time I want a long ETC over ETH. So even like this chart, I can kind of justify an ETC long on the basis of we are actually holding up this level here, and I would rather have a big bag of ETC than ETH for two reasons. One, you actually got some form of divergences starting to lock in. ETC is a massive shitcoin, and the MM just runs it up for no apparent reason at certain points, just absolutely annihilates the chart. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like this on ETC worked out. I wouldn't be as aggressive as that. Something like this. I love ETC. So yeah. What do I think SPX will bounce to? I honestly don't know. And this was the doodle that we did earlier in the stream, which was a kind of simple lower high thought process, and some form of relief. Maybe the war's over, etc. But then we get more of Trump's retardation, and we just fucking send it all down to the gulag. That would be the most entertaining outcome is often the most likely. But I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be a macro quant doomer nerd, right? This is a very strong sell-off, but it would be interesting if it actually started a, fairly redonkulous kind of staged, consistent sell-off. You're welcome, mate. I think I'm probably going to leave it there for today. I don't think there's too much to say. I think you've got the best of my thought processes, to be honest. There's some really nice high time frame charts. Go mark them up. Go understand where you're wrong. Go look at what you want to buy, where you want to buy it, and set some plans. Pepe. I'd love a bag of Pepe again. I think this is going to be a nice reclaim setup potentially. But this is a falling knife at the moment, so until there's a little bit of a reversal or signs of a reversal and some strength, change in market structure, etc., there's not really anything to rush into. And that would be my general tidbit: is don't overtrade. Don't try and show up early to the wrong party, because you'll end up getting fucked. And good times will come back in crypto. They always do. Crypto is the reflection of human greed and fear. It is the best way to gamble, I believe, in the 21st century. So yeah. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I will love you all and leave you, and genuinely appreciate all of your time and turning out, especially in these times. I'm trying to be a bit more educational in these streams, but if there's something else you want to see, maybe we just degen a few K or something. See if we can catch some rotations, but they're just fuck all moving. Next stream, I'm well open for ideas. If we want to go over some indicators or something, let me know. Yeah, that's kind of it. I've just been chilling in shorts for the last 6 to 8 weeks now. It's a bit boring, but that's the market. More CS2 in the bear market, yeah. Trading diaries. Yeah, do some diary stuff. Let's see how you record your trades. I'm lazy with them these days, I'll be honest with you. I just API it and have a trade journal piece of software, but I don't review them in as much detail as I used to, because I'm pretty much mentally automated. The things that I get wrong are usually the same things that everyone gets wrong, which are I take profits too early on some trades. I take profits too late on some trades. I oversize the wrong ones sometimes and undersize the right ones. I do stuff like that basically, which is there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no consistent way of getting that right every single time. And the only thing that I can do is kind of add little notes and additives to things that, give me the confidence to either add more size or take it off when the time is, wrong. So the example I'd give you is the one time I sized up really well and correctly was the XRP news. Despite the fact that it like broke the size constraints of my system, I knew that the instant 4% that it pumped, the RR of me round tripping 4% of that number versus it going on and doing 50 to 100%, and 2xing there and then, like that was a good trade. So yeah, that's an example of where I completely stepped outside of my sizing, and it went well. But there have been plenty of other times where I've stepped out even just a little bit, and it's not gone well. And it's not meant I've like lost huge amounts of money. It's just, you oversized on this because X, Y, Z. Was my logic particularly bad? Well, not really, but the market just didn't agree with me. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah. Trump speaks in an hour, probably sell off again. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I've been through my plays on Bitcoin, been through my thought process for alts, just need to see some more strength. I've told you some of the alts that I'm looking at in terms of like Pepe, ETC, Desync, Bonk, various ones, maybe even a bit of Banana after this run, Altcoin, and yeah, that's kind of it for now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I do want to close my shorts soon, but the market's not really giving me any reason to, so yeah. I probably won't announce it on the timeline that I've sold my shorts, but even some of these candles are looking pretty good in terms of like the Doge sell-off. We've basically retraced that entire pump, and yeah, this is a pretty bullish kind of candle. So yeah, I will love you all. Leave you all. Thank you for liking the video. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. Then I can tell my mum I'm at 6,000 followers at some point. What else? If you want anything else, just shout. I've got a lot of time at the moment. So yeah. But no money. I get enough beggars in chat. Or not in chat, sorry. In my DMs. It's like 50% people begging for money, 45% of people inviting me onto Bloomberg and trying to scam me, and then 5% of actual meaningful DMs. So if I've not got to your DMs, well, that's because I'm kind of slow at sifting through the dog shit. Yep. See you later. Au revoir.